get a new little angle there. So let's you spoke about we're kind of getting into tempo and threshold. You mentioned that in the last answer. So let's talk about training for a second.
Okay.
Now, I use Trainer Road, which I think is very effective. What training method do you use? And can you maybe answer a very general question of if someone just said, Matt, how do I get faster?
Yeah.
How would you answer that?
Well, I think it can be a complicated answer, but it can also be a fairly straightforward answer. I think it depends on the level that rider is at when they ask that question. How long they've been riding a bike, the experience they've had riding, and so forth. So if you take someone who really hasn't been riding all that much and they ask that question, I would say ride your bike as often as you can. Ride as many days a week as you can for an hour and a half, 2 hours on the weekend, 3 hours on the weekend, and just, consistently pedal the whole time. Always be trying to put power out. You don't have to go that hard, but just always be going. Now you take someone who's been riding for a few years and they ask that same question, and then it might be time to really sit down and be like, okay, what kind of specificity can we add to your riding that might bring about your desired results? And then it comes into what your goals are, identifying those goals and the demands of those races or goals, and then tailoring your specific efforts so that you're as fit as possible to meet those demands. And so, it takes a little bit of sometimes working backwards from, the vision of where you want to be. And that's it, reaching out to someone who has either got to that place or a coach, someone with that experience is always a good thing to do.
So tell us what you use. Are you your own coach or do you have a coach?
Yeah. So currently and for the last few years, I've been my own coach. I was fortunate enough to start cycling in the Rochester area right when they started the G2 program, which is a junior program, and that was ran by Mike Minerva and Todd Chesky. And so Todd was my coach for the first few years I was in cycling, and that was absolutely an excellent experience. And I would recommend anyone with any training questions reach out to Todd and talk. He's a wealth of knowledge as far as that's concerned. So that definitely expedited my learning curve and fitness within the first few years. But I found myself, I had moved to St. Louis to Lindenwood, and had, read Training and Racing with a Power Meter by Andy Coggin and Hunter Allen. And I got to the point where I kind of wanted to take the challenge on myself. And I had certain things that I really loved about training that I just wanted to do more often, long, hard efforts where I just get to go fast all the time. So I found that I was able to kind of tailor my training specifically to my goals, my desires, the things that I really enjoyed about riding a bike, which is also important. It's like your intervals, they suck. Like, they're hard,
Yeah.
So what kind of intervals do you enjoy doing? Like, there are certain people like John Holden and I, we've been riding together for 5-6 years, but we're all polar opposites as far as how we enjoy riding our bike.
Like what? Go ahead.
John loves explosive sprint type efforts, and I am a fan of, the shortest effort that I enjoy doing is about 3 minutes, where that might be the longest kind of interval John likes to do. So, tailoring your intervals so that you enjoy them as much as possible, because that's going to help you get through them, help you, maximize that effort. Because, ultimately, if you've got an hour and a half or 2 hours to devote to training in a day, you want to make sure you get as much as you possibly can out of it.